Weekend is a good time to prepare for the next week in terms of creating a watch list. Now, in order to create a watch list, there are many approaches which you can follow. One of the approach which you can follow is look at the momentum list and create stocks based on momentum, stocks which are 10 days, 20 days, 30 days, 60 days, or 6 months momentum, and focus on that. The other approach, which is what I do on the weekend, is stocks which had a catalyst in the recent 1 month and which after the catalyst have pulled back and setting up well, which I call as delayed reaction episodic pivot. Because what has happened is the market has changed since COVID-19, and as a result of the change in market, what you see typically nowadays is if there is a stock which has a catalyst episodic pivot, it tends to gap up 40, 50, 60%, and it makes a big move on the day of the earnings. And after that, because it has a overreaction to the earnings, it tends to have consolidate or pull back, and then it offers you an opportunity for another trade, and that trade can be much easier trade and it is a much lower risk trade. So on the weekend, I create this watch list which is for delayed reaction EP, and then throughout the week I keep an eye on, or I keep adding to it. So this week's delayed reaction EP list, let's have a look at it and then profit from it next week. In order to find stocks which are likely to break out for next week, what I look for are stocks which had an immediate catalyst or they have a reason to go up. So stocks which had news, specifically earning news, and on that day when they reacted positively, like here is a stock, right, and basically Applied Digital, it reacted positively on the earnings day. It has a significant catalyst, and this is the stock which after this particular thing is pulling back. So this is the kind of stocks which are likely to make a move, and this watch list is primarily what I called as delayed reaction episodic pivot, stocks which have a specific catalyst which has happened in the last 1 month, and after that specific catalyst they are having a pullback or an orderly move, and they are likely to either go up or go down based on this particular catalyst. The primary reason for selecting these stocks is the strength of the catalyst, nature of the catalyst. So here are my stocks which are setting up for next year. BMNR, as you know, Bitcoin related things are in play. That is a thematic EP, and you had like these big volume moves, 46 million here, 65 million here, 91 million here, and 146 million. So this stock after that big buying binge is going sideways. So that's one of the first top priority stock which I am monitoring. APLD, similarly, it is a catalyst. After the catalyst, it made some 15% move and now setting up for a possible move. Now, this is the short candidate which I am looking for. Again, if you see, it had a big drop on earnings, and after the earnings, like earnings which are bad, now this has just had a weak rally on a very weak volume. So, whenever this will have a breakdown, or if it has a 4% plus move down, I would be that would be a short which I would be looking at. Kava is another restaurant stock, and if you've been noticing, most of the restaurant stocks in this earning seasons are either missing earnings or they are guiding down. So Kava actually, when it came out, the earnings was not so good, and you'll see that the volume on this particular stock is one of the highest volume traded on that day in this entire history of these stocks. Now, after this last 2 days, it had this low volume bounce. Now, I am waiting for some sort of a range expansion like this, and if there is a range expansion, I would look for a short on this particular stock. ASTS, another candidate which has got earnings, and the earnings are projected to be very good for this particular stock. The next 4 quarters of earnings is the catalyst for this particular stock. They are projected to go up a lot. So, this is what I will be looking for in case of a breakout on this particular stock. Alab, which is again like earnings play, good, very good earning, one of the very good earnings stocks in this particular market condition. And after earnings, it made this small move up 10%, and it's having a very orderly pullback. Right. CRWV, I'm watching this, and monitoring this for a possible short. There has been a this stock after earnings went down, and also the insiders shares have been like a pre-dub, so there is a lot more supply of shares coming into the market, setting this up for a possible continuation short. And the other long which I am monitoring, Carvana had a positive reaction to its earning. The volume was good on that earnings day. After that, it has had this orderly pullback. In fact, and I already have a position in Carvana, which I bought on Friday because it was showing some signs of like a breaking out. So this is like the kind of stocks which has a potential to make a move uh, once it had a breakout. So these are the stocks, and in order to find these stocks, I keep a list of stocks which had a positive or a negative catalyst, and on the weekend go through them and look for the one which are setting up. And once I find them, I put them in a watch list. And tomorrow morning, what I will do is all these stocks I will put in to my trading platform and set alerts, or like and I watch them in the morning. If this particular stock starts to like having even a $1 move, I would be in this stock basically, right? So it's not necessarily I'm looking for like 4% record. I'm just looking for a sign of weakness on Kava. Again, if I see a weakness, I will be immediately shorting it with a close stops. Sometimes when you're doing this kind of a delayed reaction EP, you have to take a multiple steps. First time it may not work, but second time you try and it works. But because your stops are closed, it still makes sense. Each of these stocks has a clear catalyst, and this is why they are in my delayed reaction EP watch list. So this approach is to find stocks which have a catalyst and then use that catalyst to find delayed entries. And this is a weekly exercise which I do and add to it daily. Hopefully you can also do this kind of a work and profit from this. And if you like a video like this, press the bell button or subscribe or like